Good Saturday morning, and welcome to another exciting edition of Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Rays. We talk outdoors every Saturday morning. For an hour and a half, the fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio programming. This is Third Saturday, and we have half of our triumphant co-host team, and that is Mr. Frank Barton. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, everyone.
And we will, of course, let Frank introduce one segment and his normal partner. I don't say normal. I guess we can call John Gordon normal, okay? But he is out of town and not with us today, but we'll try to work John at a later date, but they always have a battle of segment introductions. But, Frank, thank you for being here on this third Saturday. A busy show. The weather has been unpredictable, and now they are predicting heat and more heat. We have had rain and more rain. I don't know about you folks, but early Thursday morning, pretty good little rain shower moved through our area here, and 4 or 5 inches of rain, but hopefully my wife's garden is not floated away out at Shelby Farms, but rain and rain. But we're going to talk, me and Frank will kind of roast along here as we do on the third Saturday of each month, and we'll talk to Mandy Paschal. She is the new BASS Communications Manager about her new position. She is not new to BASS, Bassmasters. She has been with them over a decade, but she's worked her way up, and now she is the communications director. And we'll talk to Mandy about that, and then we're going to talk to probably one of the most famous kayakers right now, professional bass angler kayaker, and that's right, she just won a BSS bass kayak tournament, becoming the first female to win one of those tournaments. She's won other place else, but that's Kristine Fischer. I can't wait to talk to Kristine. I know she was one of the late Ron Wong's favorite guests, and of course Ron had a way with food and females, and I know that Kristine always enjoyed being interviewed by Ron, but we'll talk to Kristine, and then we're going to switch on over to God's country. Frank won't argue with that because he's from God's country, but we're going to switch over to the White River for our monthly trout fishing report with Jacob Hanson. He is the general manager at Gaston's White River Resort, and we'll talk to Jacob about what's going on over there. Can't talk to Levi Mosier because he's got a client all day today over there, so Jacob will fill us all in on that. And then the top of the hour, we're going to talk to Randy Zellers, former resident of this area, who is the assistant communications chief for the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. And last Friday, Frank, they started taking applications for one of Arkansas's most anticipated seasons. Has nothing to do with fish, deer, turkey, or anything. It has nothing to do with what? Frank, what do you think I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about the gator season.
The gator season.
Alligator season.
Alligator season. We have we're going to post a photograph. Man, there are some big ones. And that started that 2-week application season last Friday, and I guarantee you Randy Zeller is going to tell us how many have already been applied for that very cherished time to hunt for alligators in Arkansas. I think you get alligators in Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, of course, Florida. It's an amazing event. And, you know, we've talked about Mississippi many times, Frank, and within a matter of minutes, they had filled their quota. So we'll find out from Randy. And then we're going to close out today's show with one of our longtime friends, the dean of Tennessee waterfowl / fishing guides, and that's our good friend Steve McCadams from up at Paris, Tennessee, and Kentucky Lake. And even though he's had some health issues and he'll be on the road today, we're still going to talk to Steve about, he's still putting out one of the best fishing reports that you'll get anywhere. But Frank, it's the 21st of June, so I know there was a lot of folks disappointed last Saturday when WIHEC got rained out. That's the Youth Hunter Education Challenge, something like that, for kids. And it was a big event going on at the Payne Farm out in Arlington. Lots of prizes. We gave away some prizes. Our good friends at Radians gave away some prizes. Some future quail hunting kids. And it just didn't happen because of the weather. And I know you, Frank, are partial to bird hunting. You love it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't get to do it as often as I like it, but
That's
yeah,
good. Well,
it's
you
fun.
could, but you've got other things on your mind, like dogs.
Well, dogs and bird hunting go together. But yeah, I'll be duck hunting most of the time when the bird people are
Yes.
working.
Well, they didn't have it, so they haven't named the redate, but I know it's going to probably be the fall, more than likely, because it's just too hot once you get into July and August and things like that. But we'll have Johnny McFarland on one of our future shows to explain that. So I was going to ask you, Frank, late June, July, you have to deal with heat, don't you? I mean, when you got your dogs and whatever, what's going on in the retriever world? Frank is heavily involved with that.
It's a very early morning activity this time of year.
What do you mean early morning?
Well, you get it. For me, I'm out at daylight.
All right, daylight.
I'm setting something up to run to train
Because
on at 0 dark 30 because of the heat.
Because of the heat.
And then I'm normally done by if I got a lot of training settled, I'll be done by 9:30.
So are y'all? I know
or
this
10,
next forecast is 94, 94, 94, 94 for about the next 7 days. Heat index, which I don't like. We never had that when I was growing up. We knew it was hot, but they saying over 100 heat index. So what does that mean? Are you guys through with club events or anything?
No,
Believe
it or not, there are still some club hunt tests going on in the Mid-South through the month of June and July and even August.
Really?
They're not many, and they don't last long. They're short tests.
Well, tell me what you got to do now with heat, because it's not only the handlers and
it's the dogs.
It's the dogs.
It's not about us. It's about dogs. You just have to you set things up short.
Okay.
Especially if
short. You mean by not having to go as far?
Yeah.
Okay.
And not in a lot of cover. You don't want to run your dog in. You don't want to do anything much over calf.
Okay.
Calf,
all right.
Calf deep cover.
All right.
Because if they get down in the big cover, then there's no air moving around.
Right. They need some air.
And you have to be careful of the water, even though we'll say, well, you just do a lot of water work. Well, that's all good, well, and fine, but the water starts warming up.
Yeah.
And actually, training a dog in tepid water is more dangerous than just training it in,
all right, there's
94, 95.
There's 5 people going down I-55 right now, and he just said something called tepid water. Now, Frank, warm. Okay.
Warm water. Sorry.
Warm water. So do you check? You know what the temperature is going to be. You have to check that out. You're going to see what the weather is for the dog. So how do you keep the dog cool? What do you do?
Well, you don't, in that the dogs are going to get warm.
Okay.
You just got to watch them, and it's a little bit easier when you're training because you got total control over when you're going to stop.
Okay, unless it's an event.
Yeah, and now an event, then you have to
roll with the
punches.
punches.
A little bit harder then because the dog's out there, and if a dog is hunting for the bird that it's trying to find, the longer that it hunts, the hotter that it gets. The hotter that it gets, their sense of smell starts to diminish.
Oh,
and
okay.
so it can go downhill quick.
Well,
so
are there things now? Are there things now that you can use? I mean, chemicals. I don't know. Water?
Water in moderation.
So there ain't no salt tablets for the dogs.
You keep them cool off, and it's funny, you do things. You cool their underbelly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And their ears.
And their ears. I did not know that.
And their ears.
Huh.
Yeah. And you can, and in severe cases, you can wipe them down with alcohol.
Okay.
And that'll help. But what the worst thing actually to do is to put them in ice water.
Don't put them in ice.
Not initially. No. That's
later on.
It's a shock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
when they get through, you cooling down?
They need to cool down
once they're through
progressively. Yeah. And of course, give them water, obviously, on that. But
you check their temperature. Do you know what the temperature is for the dog? Does that dog get?
You can check your temperature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. But you can do some things. You can pull up on the skin. You can tell if a dog is dehydrated. You pull up on the nape of the neck or whatever in the skin, and if it doesn't retract back and if it just stays up that way, that dog's dehydrated.
And I'm thinking about everybody sees a dog with his tongue out. I know how the dog feels. That tongue is a tip off.
They're cooling.
That's their cooling system.
They don't sweat.
They don't sweat.
They pant to cool.
Yeah,
and that's part of that. That's
so
part of their cooling.
If they're not tongue out there working, then in the hot heat, something's going wrong with that dog. His temperature is not right or something.
Yeah, you can watch the dog, and if you've ever seen a dog go down because of heat, and I have.
You have?
Yeah, you don't forget it, and you
particularly if it's yours.
Well, fortunately I've never had one, but I have seen it.
Where else are you on any other radio show you're going to find out about dogs and temperatures? Okay, I mean, that's Outdoors with Larry right there. All right, Frank, thank you. We're going to take our first break of the morning. We're going to hit and talk a little BASS with Mandy Paschal. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Good Saturday morning for all you folks in Brownsville on 1520 AM, 95.3 FM. Of course, Jackson on News Talk 101.5. And right here in Memphis every Saturday morning from 9 to 10:30. Part of the Odyssey Radio family, AM 790, and Shelby McCall is our show producer, and she's taking care of everything. And, of course, this is third Saturday. We have Mr. Frank Barton, not Mr. Frank Barton's in studio with us. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning again, Larry. Good morning, everyone.
And if you love keeping up with dogs, you should have listened to the first segment. Frank did a great job of explaining how to deal with training your dogs in the heat that we've got coming ahead of us. After everybody was making arcs, I saw a boat pulling a car the other day. We've had so much rain, but it has been amazing. But now we're in the heat zone. But I want to welcome this next guest. She has been part of the BASS team for a long time, has helped us get guests and things along that line. But she is now the new communications manager for BASS, and that is Mandy Paschal. Good morning, Mandy.
Good morning, Larry, and thank you so much for having me on today.
Yeah, well, this will not be the first time, Mandy. We're going to keep up. We've got your number. We know how to find you, and you are the person that helps us find people that we can't find anywhere else, but it is her role. So describe to our listeners out there, Mandy, a little bit about your background.
A little bit about my background. I graduated from Troy University in South Alabama with a print journalism degree.
Okay.
And after graduation, I was just looking for any type of journalism job and noticed that Bassmaster had an opening for an editorial assistant. Now, when I applied, I knew nothing about fishing, the sport, the industry, nothing.
Yeah.
So I luckily got the job and hit the ground running.
And you've been
now,
10 years later?
Sorry?
Yeah, you've been there for about 10 years. And so now what is the communication manager for BASS? Describe what you do now.
Now I will be working with the anglers, their families, any local media, and then national and international media, setting up interviews, and really just speaking on behalf of bass as well.
You're on the road a little bit too, right, Mandy?
Yes, sir. I travel to all the elites and the Classic every year, and then any random trips they have in between.
So you are on the road because, so how many elite tournaments do we have?
We have 9 elite tournaments a year, and then the Classic.
And the Classic, of course, we all know that. And the Classic this coming year, we know where it's going to be, right, Mandy? Tell us.
It is in Knoxville, Tennessee.
We're going to break all the records. I can tell you that for a fact when it comes Classic time. But, again, we're talking to Mandy Paschal. And, Mandy, I know that the position yourself, you said you didn't grow up in a fishing family then, right?
No, sir, I did not. So this was all brand new to me once I started, but quickly I've fallen in love with it.
And really what you got here, you're part of the family now. I mean,
right.
Because when we get guests on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and we've had plenty of them over the years from BSS, we don't just ask what lure they use. We want to know something about the folks. and I think when we look at it right now, the industry has changed so much, but at the same time, it's still a good bunch of folks, right, Mandy? I mean,
it is. Yes, sir. It is full of good people and on all levels. I get to work with a lot of the kids. I work with the High School All-American program.
Yes.
And just seeing the passion that they have and then getting to see them excel and grow in the industry has been wonderful as well.
Well, talk about that then, because you are the director for the High School All-American program. So what does that attain to?
That is a program that we started. This will be our 11th year in 2025.
Okay.
We picked 12 of the most outstanding high school kids in the country.
12.
It's a nomination.
Yeah.
They're nominated by their coaches, a parent, a staff member at school. And it's just really a chance to showcase kids that excel not only on the water, but in the classroom and community service as well.
And that's where you really get to know these kids, because someday you may be up on the stage at the Classic and they're lifting up that winning trophy. I mean,
which is what the case we had this year with Easton.
Yes.
He was a former high school All-American.
That's what I was getting to, because what a story that was. And Easton, of course, has been on the show. We'll be on some more by winning the Classic. And then the College All-American program, are you part of that too?
Yes, sir. That is a brand new one that we started this year, and it's the Hook College All-American program, and we're following these 2 trails, the Lunkers and the Legends division, throughout the season. And towards the end, it's going to be the Team of the Year winners automatically get in, and then the top 2 in each division will be our College All-Americans. And they will also be honored at the Classic next year alongside the High School All-Americans.
Something every year. And, of course, BASS, I was there when it started with Ray Scott. It seemed like yesterday when they were getting in that plane and no one knew where they were going to fish. They took them off and did all that. And we've got today with the Legends and all these different kind of things. We'll talk about what is this. I was going through it, and, of course, Kristine Fischer is coming right up next. A lot of you folks I know are anxiously waiting to hear what Kristine has to say, but something's kind of jumped out at me, Mandy, when you were sending me the information about the Bassmaster Her Initiative. What is the Bassmaster Her Initiative?
Yes, sir. That is a new program that we started last year, and it's the Bassmaster Her program. We have 3 ambassadors, Maggie Carcello, Kristine Fischer, and Anastasia Patterson.
Yes, yeah.
And they are in 3 different routes of fishing, their life journey in fishing. And we're really just telling their story. Yeah. But we also host different events at Elites where we have workshops where females around the country can sign up to come learn just the basics of fishing in hopes that we'll give them a community of women to work with and learn to fish and rely on each other just throughout the industry.
Well, folks, if you haven't gone, if you don't know anything about Kristine Fischer, shame on you. She's only got 50,000 followers. Come on now. And if you watch any, I was telling my co-host here, Frank Barton, need to look up, Kristine.
I did.
Yes, you did. And if anybody has a hotter kayak than Kristine, let me know, because I don't know what else you can get on there unless maybe it was your dog, Mandy. Maybe you can put your – I understand you're a dog lover, right?
I am. I love dogs. And
what do you got?
I have a dog. Her name is Nala.
Mala? Okay. What kind of
Nala.
dog? What kind of dog?
She is a pit bull mix.
A pit bull mix. How about that?
Yes, sir.
Frank? Huh? Yeah, that sounds like my Lily that my son has. She is a pit bull mix, and you couldn't find a better dog than that. But so talk about 2025. What's up for you?
2025 has been a very busy year.
Yes.
I feel like I've been going nonstop since the Classic.
Yeah.
But we have this month in between. We just got back from 10 Killer.
Yeah.
And we don't leave to go to ICAST until mid-July. So I'm looking forward to just having some downtime.
So here we are.
Rest a little bit and
Yeah,
plan for the rest of the year.
Here we got to break up and make you work here a little bit on this Saturday morning again. And we're talking again to Mandy Paschal. And so, Mandy, tell us a little bit about your background. You said you went to Troy. We know Troy. It's a great basketball school, football school, a lot of the other stuff. We know where it's located. It's really in the Black Belt. Is it in the Black Belt of Alabama? Is it close to it? Where is Troy located?
It is in South Alabama. It's about 30 minutes north of Dothan.
Okay.
About an hour and a half, 2 hours from the beach.
Okay.
Which is very nice growing up.
I know. Been there and everything like that, but to get where you're going right now, the learning experience, I think, is what this is about. So what do you hope to accomplish this year in your position?
I'm just really looking forward to it's a new challenge, diving full first. I've helped out and worked with PR and communications in the past.
Yeah.
But just taking the bull by the horns on this is something that I'm excited about, and just getting to know these anglers and their stories and everything and telling those stories to the public is something that I'm really looking forward to.
Well, that's what we're here for, Mandy. We're in Memphis. We've been doing it almost 25 years, so we know what's going on, but we're going to lean on Mandy as we go throughout this 2025, particularly when the Classic coming up next year is in Knoxville. And I know we're going to knock the socks off of it come next year. And I've asked Mandy, since she's got plenty of free time now, that maybe she might stick around when we talk to Kristine and let Mandy kind of join in on this because, everybody's got a favorite angler. I'm not going to ask you what's your favorite angler, but what do you like most about your job?
The thing I like most about my job is getting to work with the national and international media.
Yeah.
Those people that are telling the stories, and those people also, they might not be fully immersed in the fishing industry.
Yeah.
But over the past 10 years, they've become friends and family. So that is probably my favorite part of the job.
And you've mentioned the international part, because this doesn't just stop on the Atlantic coast or the West Coast or wherever it might be, because we got anglers, particularly from Japan and the Asian people and the things like that, but we also have the Hispanics, and you're reaching out to different people. Well, we appreciate you, Mandy, and congratulations again. 10 years with BSS and now as the new communications manager. I think you could get that on a shirt. It's not a real long title, and I hope you haven't heard wild stories about Larry Ray in Memphis and try to stay away from him. But I am the geezer of all, so you have to watch. I'm middle-aged for a 164-year-old man, okay? I'm letting you know that, so whatever you've heard from anybody else, just don't believe it, okay?
Hey, it's all good things.
Okay, all good things must come to an end. No, that's what I worry about. So Mandy's going to hang on for us. We're going to take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make sure that Frank Barton is awake and come right back and hook up with Kristine Fischer on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we roll into our 25th year on the air as part of the Odyssey family of radio stations on this third Saturday. And I know my man Frank Barton is my co-host, and he's anxiously awaiting when we get off fishing and get on the dogs. I mean, you hanging on, aren't you, Frank? You all right?
We're just waiting to talk about dogs.
I know it, but you've already looked up.
No, this is a fishing show today.
Well, not all the way, but you've looked up Kristine Fischer hadn't you? Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It was.
Can you imagine what she's like in real life? You know, I mean.
Well, we're fixing to find out.
We're going to find out because I think she likes what she's doing. I've asked Mandy Paschal, she is the new BSS Communications Manager, to stick around for this segment, and she doesn't have anything to do for a month. Then she gets back on the roller coaster ride again. But we are so happy to have on Outdoors with Larry Ray, Kristine Fischer, coming off a big, big win at 10 Killer. First of all, congratulations, Kristine, and thank you for putting a little time in and being on Outdoors with Larry Ray again.
Hey, it's always a good day when I get to talk with you fine folks. I've had the privilege of doing so several times now, and it's always a good time. So thank you all for having me, and thank you for all the support, surrounding not just that big win I just had, but my entire career. It's really appreciated. Well,
we've tried to do that, and, of course, we talked off the air. I have to say it, Kristine, this is one of those shows, and I get emotional because I miss Ron Wong because he had such a part of this show for over a decade, and I know he would have been happy for you. He's listening now. He's got better sound than we got. I mean, he's keeping up with this, and I know Mandy, the reputation for Ron. But first of all, Kristine, I know this. Talk about the victory itself, because I've read all the press releases, particularly when I got down to this quote. Let me see if I can find this quote. Where did it say here? Because I thought that quote just summed up, Kristine. I'm honestly in disbelief. Okay? I mean, so talk about it, Kristine.
Well, going into that tournament, that was only my second time fishing 10 Killer. We had the Bassmaster Kayak Classic there the year prior, and I had a pretty good tournament there. But, practice-wise, I had a fair, what I would consider a strong practice, but I was really approaching that tournament conservatively because I was trying to fish for points.
Yes.
Just to stay in the AOI, to try to qualify for that classic, because fishing boat tournaments this year and fishing the Bassmaster Opens, I have not been able to fish as much of the Bassmaster kayak stuff. So I was only allowed 3 events. So this is my third and final one. And
yes.
I really needed a top 30. So I don't want to say I wasn't fishing to win, but I was fishing a lot safer this go around. And then that, when I was sitting in second after day one, I thought to myself, well, my goodness, look what just happened here. We're in contention.
Let's go.
And then, I was excited. And then day 2, I actually had better and bigger bites, and I dumped off 2 of the biggest bites I had the entire tournament, one of them being a 5-pound plus largemouth, which on that lake, that's big bass all day. And I kind of just figured after that, well, that was the fish. We all know, that was the fish that either won it or lost it for us.
Oh, yeah.
So I was pretty, after that tournament wrapped up, I fished so dang hard, and I never got another big bite. And I just kind of told myself, well, I did my best, but when it's not your time, it's not your time. And this one just wasn't my time.
Well, again, and the scoring's a little bit different for you folks out there. If you're not familiar with the kayak, explain the scoring, because, Kristine, it's not about pounds, it's about inches.
That's correct. Yeah, to keep it legitimate in the kayak world, we have a certified measuring board and a unique identifier. The apps, we submit our fish through an app with photos that are GPS time-stamped, all that, fancy stuff. And so we go by total inches. But one interesting thing I did want to share with you, Larry, is that this tournament, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I got a Bubba scale that I use on my bass boat.
Yes.
And I told myself, for this kayak tournament, I'm actually going to weigh every single one of my fish so that my followers that, fish in the bass boat world kind of have an idea of what I have.
Yeah.
And so I did that for this tournament. And that first day, I had 15.5 pounds.
Okay. Yeah.
And I found out that there was a big local boat tournament there that same day, and it took 14.8 to win.
So you would have been the leader in that one too. So okay.
Yeah, so that was kind of neat really neat to kind of see that, you know.
Well, I know that the way it works, and this was so important because not only did you win the tournament, got some money, of course, is always important, but you also you earned a spot in the 2026 Bassmaster Kayak Series Championship.
Yes, and my goodness, I mean, that's what we're all trying to do, right? That's what we're trying to do. So it was great.
Well, talk about what does it mean now, Mandy? Here's where you come in now, because this is your job, Mandy. Now you're getting. I mean, this is part of your job. But let's talk about what this Bassmaster initiative means again. Mandy kind of explained a little bit of it, but tell us, Kristine, what it means to you.
Well, you know, the Bassmaster program initiative that great companies like Bassmaster, Toyota, Bass Pro Shops have really got behind is an entire movement that we are trying to grow the sport for women through the competitive aspect, through inspiration, through mentorship, through education, our Bassmaster workshops.
Yeah.
We're doing so much because we truly, you know, myself, the other two ambassadors, Anastasia and Maggie, and the companies that are behind this movement truly want to see more women thrive in our space. And so it's a thing that I'm really passionate about. I know Mandy and everybody over there at Bass feels the same. And it's just we've seen so much positivity and growth around it, this whole initiative. So it's been awesome.
Talk about it, Mandy. What, how important is Kristine?
Oh, she is extremely important. Coming off these workshops where they get a chance just to teach and mentor, like you said, that's a key part of this.
Yeah.
And just seeing the impact that it's had on everybody from little girls, letting them know girls fish too.
Yeah.
All the way up to older people that are wanting to get involved and find their place in the sport as well. It's just been such a joy to be involved with. And
I know, Kristine, we can't go into this interview to me. You know, I'm more of a people person. I love to ask goofy questions. Ron always got on me for saying that. But you're the only professional bass fisherman that I know from Weeping Water, Nebraska. Okay? I mean...
yeah, no, I think I think that's very accurate to say that.
Yeah, because I have no idea where Weeping Water is. But I know it's got to be small. I don't think is all the stuff I've read about you. And folks, you can just go Google Kristine Fischer and just watch her videos. They are amazing. What she's got in her boat, and I'm going to ask her a little bit about that in her kayak. But you didn't grow up as a bass fisherman. You and your brother were muskie, pike, and all those other kind of things. So where you are today. Talk about that, where you are today compared to those younger years. You got to be, it must blow your mind.
No, it absolutely does, Larry. It absolutely does. Well, like you said, you know, we grew up doing the farm pond bass fishing thing, but our real, you know, I was born into a very fishing-oriented family, but we were big walleye, pike, perch, you know, did some musky stuff. That was kind of our roots, and we grew up fishing family walleye tournaments like the Governor's Cup out here up in South Dakota on Wahe. We fished family walleye tournaments. So, you know, I remember my folks, when we'd catch a smallmouth walleye fishing, my grandpa and my dad were like, all these dang things eat all the walleye, fry, you know? So I joke sometimes that, you know, I remember eating smallmouth growing up a couple of times, and luckily that hasn't jinxed me too bad.
No, it hasn't. Hasn't jinxed you at all. And I know now that you believe a lot in spreading the good news about what you do. I mean, Instagram, YouTube, folks, she's got almost 50,000 subscribers. She would have 49,999 if I wasn't there. Okay, I'm number 50,000. Okay, Kristine. So I know that's important to you, and Mandy, it's important for BASS to have someone like Kristine, right?
Absolutely. She just has such a strong voice and impact for so many. So.
And Kristine,
thank you, Mandy.
How important is your positive work that you're putting out there?
Well, I think in a seemingly increasingly negative atmosphere that we
There you
find a
go.
lot of
Yeah.
times. It's never been more important to put the positivity out there, because at the end of the day, regardless of what our opinions are on certain technologies or what we're fishing out of, whether it's off the bank or in a kayak or in a boat,
Yeah.
I just posted about this. We all share in a love and a common love of the sport of fishing and speak
Yes.
that universal language.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, that a lot of us do that for an escape, for healing, for therapeutic reasons, to just the love and the connection of the outdoors. And I can't imagine looking at this sport and trying to make anything negative out of it. And it's crazy that so many people are doing it right now. So
We'll talk about. I know we've got some. Believe it or not, we do have young listeners. Since we went to 9 to 10:30 on Saturday, the 6 o'clock slot was tough on my young listeners. I know, but
oh yeah,
we're now at 9 to 10:30 every Saturday morning here and throughout the Mid-South. How about some advice? We only got a couple of more minutes. Advice,
Sure.
Christine, for maybe that young female. I'm not saying that you don't have a lot of male fans. I know you do. But talk about advice you would offer to a young lady that would like to get into this sport.
Well, I think more and more now, I hope women are seeing that the sport's all about inclusivity, and everybody can
Yes.
do it. And no matter if you're a kid or you're in college or you're in your 70s or 80s, this sport you're accessible for everyone. And I want people to know that if you anything, regardless if it's hunting, if it's fishing, if it's dogs like your co-host loves, if you have a passion about something and you can find so much purpose in that. And we have an atmosphere now where you can truly make a career out of doing anything out there if you love it enough and you're willing to work hard enough. So if you want to get out there and you want to fish and you feel like you have a message that you want to share with the world and you want to do it through the sport of fishing, go out and do it, and don't let anybody get in your way. Drown out all those voices and you focus on you, put your head down, and like my friend Anastasia says, head up and hammer down.
Well, I think you're the first one to ever say it if you're in their 80s. Thank you, Christine. I mean, I don't.
Well, I get it all the time. People think they're too old, and you're never. You're only as
I'm
old as you
not
think
too
you
old.
are.
I'm not too old.
You're
Long as you and Mandy are around, okay? Keep me
That's right.
keep me propped up. Again, thank you both for being on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Thanks, Mandy, for sitting around and having to listen to these wonderful words. You weren't having to do, but Christine, well said. We will stay in touch, and we hope to talk to you soon. Again, Christine, keep them rolling, okay, girl?
Yep, thank you so much, y'all.
All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this June 21st, and Frank Barton, of course, in on the third Saturday. And you know, Frank, we try to. Sometimes our brain just doesn't work, Frank. Has yours ever been like that? No, you're young. You're just a young pup, so your brain is always working. Right?
What was that? I don't
What was that? Well, on the third Saturday of each month, we do our Gaston's White River Resort trout fishing report from up on the White River, and then of course, Thursday morning I'm sitting there with an open space, and I said something's supposed to be in that gap. Then I realized, oh my goodness, I didn't even check with my folks at Gaston, didn't check with Jacob Hanson and see if they could be on, and Jacob is on. He saved my day to fill his regular spot. Always on the third Saturday of each month, we'll be talking to Jacob or Levi Mosier from the White River. And so, first of all, Jacob, thanks, buddy, for for coming through for me again.
Not a problem, Larry. Not a problem.
Be sure and tell Clint to buy you a milkshake or something, okay? And put it on my bill.
Man, I can't pass up a milkshake.
No, put it on my bill. I got a couple of places in Mountain Home you can go to. But I wanted to ask you, Jacob, first of all, thank you for being with us. But tell me, you guys, we've been hammered with rain. You've missed a couple of them. Tell us what's going on water-wise on the White now.
Water-wise, the Bull Shoals Lake has got just about as much as it can hold. And and they're trickling it out right now, letting South Arkansas drain out. So, but I'm assuming as soon as the ditches down in the flatlands of Arkansas kind of thin out, they're going to give us probably 6 or more generators a day, which is, in my opinion, good. It makes for a healthy river.
Oh yeah.
Puts a lot of food in the water for the fish to eat. They get big.
Well, we like them getting big. We want to feed those rascals, okay, Jacob? I know that
absolutely.
because. But one thing, we're on a spell here. Finally, 7 days of 94 degrees, and there's
it finally
one.
Feels like summertime.
Yeah, but there's one thing that we don't have that you guys have is a river that's what's that water temperature, Jacob?
Man, I bet it's 52 degrees today.
Did you hear that, Frank? It's 50.
I did. I smiled.
I see you smiled. I'm smelling it because you can just go stand next to it and feel the breeze. 52 degrees. If they're in the 90s, which they're not very often because they have a great breeze off that river, but it makes, to me, the fishing even better. And I don't know, how's the fishing been? I know Levi's been posting some great photographs of fish that's been caught up there. So how's the fishing been?
Fishing's been great. Right now we're kind of right there towards the end of the crawdad spawn, and
yeah,
going out there just with some little bit of shrimp, and you can be real successful just dragging shrimp on a Carolina rig.
And I'm seeing some browns too. I mean,
we've caught probably this last week. It's probably been 4 or 5 browns over 26 inches. Pictures sent to me, so we're doing real good right now.
Well, I can't be there tomorrow, but maybe the next day. No, I mean that's a place to be. So what's the best the fishing? What are they using right now? Mostly the shrimp, like you were talking about.
Yeah, a lot of shrimp right now. There's a lot of that. There's if they turn on just a few generators, you can get away with throwing some. A couple stick baits, some lighter colored stick baits in the evenings.
Yeah.
And then here, I expect in the next couple of weeks, we'll start seeing those grasshoppers come out in the evenings for you fly guys that want to go out there and do some hopper fishing.
And talk about your facility there, Jacob. I know you're the general manager. You know about your guides. So how many guides do you guys normally use?
Oh, man, anywhere from, 10 to 20, depends on what size trips we got going out there.
And you do recommend.
Our dock, we have 10 right now.
And you recommend those guys don't try to tackle this river. If you've been to the Little Red and you think, oh, I can master Little Red, there's nothing to it going to the White River. There's a big difference, right, Jacob?
There is. Like I said, these guys go out there every day. They know the spots to go to. They know. I mean, I know you can see where these guys go, but if you're not exactly in the right spot, you can't drift the little channels. There's small channels in the river that you want to make your bait drift through to avoid the moss beds and whatnot. And those guys can put you right on it.
And also,
not to mention, if we're going to get some big generation, the water could be dangerous. So just take a guide out there and let him show you how to do it.
How many generators?
That's kind of job.
How many generators at bull shows? How many we got up there?
They got a total of 8.
8 generators, folks. That's a lot of power and what they've got going right now. But also, there's so many reasons to go to Gaston's, not just because of the fishing. Okay, I don't want to mess up anybody here, Jacob, but if anybody likes to eat, the restaurant's full time now, right? It's going full blast.
That's right. Chef Rick's got that well-oiled machine cooking along right now, and they're doing a great job.
And they'll cook your fish, right? Will they do the fish? They will cook your fish, won't they? I mean,
they will. If you go out with a guide, he'll clean the fish for you and take them up to the restaurant. If you're just going out one of my rent boats, my dock hands can help you clean the fish and get them up to the restaurant for you, and they'll offer you a few different ways for you to have them, and they'll take care of it for you up in the restaurant. Absolutely.
And that's Philip down there on the dock, right? I mean,
I have 4 dock hands now, but Philip's he's one of my veterans.
Yeah,
so,
Philip's been there a long time, and he makes a big deal when I get there. And I don't know, my wife did one of the pole dances coming out of the boat the last time we were up there. And
did what?
Well, she grabbed the pole, and the next thing I know, she's going around it, getting out of the boat. And I got to try to get a picture of her, but Jacob wouldn't let me take it. But no, I mean, Levi, but
I just wanted you to know I was paying attention.
You were paying attention, weren't you? You really were.
When you started talking about Miriam pole dancing.
We can also talk about my big fish that she took a picture of. Jacob knows the story. She got she made a picture of my big fish. Okay, you know what turned out on my camera? 9 pictures of her leg. I mean,
Oh.
now don't laugh because she listens to these shows every once in a while.
I don't know. You're telling that right behind the pole dancing.
Well,
story,
no, I
so
better
just
get
don't
off
know
that.
about what that means.
All right, now, so Jacob, let's change the subject here. Where do they go to get information about Gaston's?
Just go to our website at gastons.com and look at our cabins, look at our rates. And then when you want to know about availability, just give us a call at 870-431-5202. And any one of us that picks up that phone can help you.
And you can go to LarryRay.com. We got all that information up there. I've known this family for 50 years, and I recommend it going, all right, we'll talk to you in July, buddy. I won't forget you next month, okay? All right?
All right, thanks, Larry. Have a good one.
Tell everybody hello for me. Thanks, Jacob. All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay. Jacob Hanson, you can cut him. He's gone now, Shelby. Appreciate the folks at Gaston's. I'm a longtime friend with late Jim Gaston and known that place for a long time. You know, Frank, I know we're doing a lot in Arkansas today, folks. I just felt led because we're going to talk alligator here on the next segment. I'm going to let Frank introduce that. But there's a lot of things to do in Arkansas, right, Frank?
It's a lot. It's a natural state.
It is. And not just because of the river, because you can go.
Arkansas is the only state in the union that has every mineral that you need.
Really?
All the minerals that you might need are available in Arkansas.
Know that.
You bet.
Huh. Well, I'm
only one.
And I know there's a lot of advertising going on now for all the things going on in East Arkansas, particularly the Sultana. We're keeping up with them. I see more pictures of visitors to the Sultana.
Well, we've got a very energetic and aggressive social media person that's doing all that.
Don't you need that because construction is ongoing? Well, what are we talking about still?
There will be a soft opening in October of this year.
October?
The exhibits will not be completed at that time, but there'll be enough of the museum, and it's going to be open so that we can enjoy and celebrate the 200th celebration of Crittenden County.
Oh, okay.
So they'll have the Crittenden County bicentennial celebration that'll be going on
next year.
And then the museum, all the exhibits, and we're scheduled for a grand opening in April 27th next year.
Next year, 2026, and we're talking about the official Sultana Museum. Is that what we call it?
Sultana Disaster Museum.
Oh, got to have that word in there, don't we?
The Sultana Disaster Museum is the name of the museum.
And I think we need that disaster because it was over 1,500. What do we got here?
The number varies, but over 1,500 is a good number to use.
Which is the most
largest
maritime.
Yeah, greatest maritime disaster in the history of the United States.
It's
greater than the Titanic.
It's gonna put. Marion's a great running town. It's getting bigger and bigger. Frank, of course, is part of that area over there with his business and everything like that. And it's right down the street from one of my favorite places. I always throw that in there, don't I? What would that be?
Shake Shack.
The Shake Shack. The Tackers.
World-famous Shake Shack.
World-famous Shake Shack right down the street from what that is. So we'll be keeping up with that. But I see so much coming out of Mississippi County, the land of steel. I see that. And of course, my wife grew up in Mississippi County. There was no land of steel when she was growing up over there. But a lot of things. You have not been to Wilson. I'm going to say that's a beautiful little town to go eat at. The restaurant in downtown Wilson, Osceola, all those places up there, even up to Blytheville. The story is there that I almost took the Blytheville sporting. I applied for the sporting editor of Blytheville, the Courier, and I came to Memphis instead. And I've never regretted it.
That's
okay,
right. To follow in Henry Reynolds' footsteps.
I was. That's right.
Mentored by Henry.
That's pretty big steps. No way I could do that. But anyway, that was in July of 1967 that I came to Memphis. Me and my wife Miriam, and we've never regretted all these years we've been here at the Commercial Appeal, whatever it might be. Would not have met people like Frank Barton.
Why don't you give Stephen Smith a call?
Yeah, I do need to do that.
Talk to him
Stephen
about
A.
Memphis.
Smith. Maybe he'll come on our show.
Smith.
Maybe he wants to talk about outdoors.
The best thing we can do is just ignore him.
Well, you're just bringing him up.
I know it.
You just brought him up.
I brought him up, and I shouldn't have done it.
You shouldn't have done it. All right, let's take a break. We'll try to get Stephen A. Smith on next week. Next time Frank's on, we'll let him bring him on here. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Good Saturday morning, everyone. Once again, it is the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray show. All things that you'd want to find out about the outdoors, and probably some things that you didn't know that happen in the outdoors. You will hear about it here on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Yes.
Kayaking, hunting, fishing, dog training, bird watching, and occasionally some of the lesser-known activities that we're going to talk about right now. So, without further ado,
there it is.
The one and only, the Oracle of the Outdoors.
That's what I like. Yeah.
It is Larry Ray.
All right. Is it okay to applaud yourself? I mean, I don't know. I just did that. Randy's laughing, and I'm applauding. So I don't know how to take that, but it's always good to have Randy Zellers on with us. He is the Assistant Communications Chief for our good friends at the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. I thought it'd be appropriate for an Arkansas resident to introduce the segment with Frank Barton doing that. And first of all, Randy, as always, thank you for joining us on a kind of a short note. Notice, but there is something that started last Friday, a very unique season that Arkansas has to go along with Louisiana, Florida, Mississippi. So what happened last Friday?
That's right. Well, last Friday we opened up the application window for Arkansas alligator hunting.
There you go. Yes.
That's right.
And
so Arkansas, we're pretty proud. Right now, we are still the only state in the union that you can hunt both alligators and elk on public land. So we're pretty proud of that little note. So
what did I tell you, Larry?
You did tell me that,
how
Frank.
diverse we are in Arkansas.
How diverse we are in Arkansas. Yeah, and Randy's got to say he's a turncoat Bartlett guy here. I mean, you know.
Yeah. You know, I grew up in the Memphis area, then and moved down to Mississippi and went to Mississippi State University and did all my learning down there.
Now you're getting
and then
carried
I brought
away.
It all over to Arkansas.
Yeah, now you're getting carried away, Randy. I mean, we've gone too much on that. You're in God's country. We know.
Bounced all around the Mid-South.
Yeah, but we know you're in God's country, and this event itself runs through June the 15th. June the. It started on June the 15th, last Friday at 8 a.m. Goes through midnight, July 14th.
That's right.
And this is really one of your. Not only just elk and alligator, I hadn't even thought about that together, but this is a very interesting season that I would expect a very tight group of applicants come in for this.
It is. I mean, we end up with, we get a few thousand folks probably that do try to apply.
Yeah.
But it's kind of one of those things that, deer hunting, all throughout the South, everybody loves to deer hunt.
Yeah.
Everybody loves duck hunting. Everybody knows Arkansas for duck hunting.
There you go, Frank.
But when it comes to alligators, a lot of people there are a lot of folks that say, well, that's neat, and I'll watch it from a distance. So we have quite a few folks but we still have folks that will still apply, and we have pretty good success rates actually with most of our alligator hunters that do get on public land. But alligator hunting in Arkansas is pretty popular, really.
Well, it says applicants must be at least 16 years of age the day the hunt begins. So this is very technical, and only Arkansas residents may apply. We don't want anybody to get killed out of state.
Now that's only on the public side.
That's on the public side.
If you're non-resident,
yes.
You can find somebody with land in Arkansas that has alligators, and you can hunt on the private land side. But for the public land, it's residents only.
I don't have any alligators on my property.
You don't have any alligators on your property?
Not that I've seen.
Not that he's seen, but you may have it, though, Frank.
Yeah, you're right.
You've got a pretty good wide property there.
Well, I'll tell you, as much rain as we've had this spring, you may have an alligator you just don't know about. We have had nonstop rain lately.
Yeah, and I know we've probably, if he doesn't have alligators, he may have a bear. I don't know. We're in Trenton, Arkansas now. Bear, alligator, elk. It won't be long. I hope we don't have any other critters or big snakes or anything like that that'll come down. But I've always wanted the alligator hunt applicants must pay. I like your news release. Must pay a $5 non-refundable processing fee at the time of their application.
That's right.
So you're not in this to make money? You're not in this
No, this isn't about money. This is, and what that's about. Years ago, pretty much every one of our draws in our permit system is like that.
Yeah.
Years ago, it used to be that you could apply for free, and then once you got your permit, you would pay after the fact. And when it came, and that was mainly with deer, and it was only $10 for that permit then.
Yeah.
But we had so many people that would apply, and then they wouldn't show for their permit, and we'd have to go back and redraw. So finally, we just said, okay, I tell you what, pay $5 up front if you apply, and as soon as you get your permit, it's yours. That's it. We're not going to go through the redraws anymore. So we do that, and the alligator permit is the same way. You pay $5 for a chance at one of the alligator permits. So.
And, I looked at the pictures. I'm running one of them. I have to run that big one, the guys with the big one. And I don't see anybody hosting one over their shoulder or anything like that.
No, it usually takes a forklift.
Yeah, it takes a forklift. So we're talking about some pretty big critters here, Randy, right?
That's right. That's right. The record right now actually came from Millwood Lake, and it was a 1/4 inch short of 14 feet long. So,
Frank, how about that, Frank? Bring that to one of your Kubota dealers over there, Frank, and let him run around with that. And again, we're talking to Randy Zellers. He is the Assistant Communications Chief of the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. And Randy, we casually mentioned Millwood, and I know Millwood is also one of our famous bass fishing lakes. But in the old days, it was when I was growing up. Everybody went to Millwood because of the stuff, so we didn't go to find alligators. I'd rather go to Murfreesboro myself and find a diamond, But so talk about Millwood. What's the deal with Millwood?
Sure. Well, Millwood, Millwood does have a lot of alligators in it. Actually, with the picture that you were looking at of the big gator from last year, that was actually that alligator. I believe he was 13 feet long, or right at 13 feet long. And the two men that are in that picture with that alligator, that was at Millwood Lake, and they were in a John boat that was 12 foot long.
I remember when that happened, and I said that wasn't a big enough boat.
That wasn't a big enough boat. Well, you see the picture. I'm going to run it on Facebook. It may already been posted now. I don't know, but Millwood. So where did the Arkansas alligators come from? Louisiana? I mean, they come up from Louisiana?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, just about every one of our gators. Years ago, of course, back during days of settlement, alligators were native to the natural state.
Yeah.
I mean, they were here.
Yeah.
And over the course of quite a few years, through eradication and through habitat manipulations, a lot of land conversion, things like that, we didn't have any more alligators. So back in the 80s, the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission worked with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and started bringing some alligators back over the state line, and they took to it pretty well. It didn't take too much actual effort once the alligators got here. They're kind of they're some of your keystone predators. They're some of the top of the food chain. So it's not like releasing a couple of rabbits. Release a couple of alligators, and they're probably going to hang around.
Well, I know that. So when is the season? I mean, we're drawing now. So when is the season?
The season is the last 2 weekends in September.
September,
and
okay.
it can roll into October on that last weekend, but that's when we actually get out there. It's sort of the end of the summer.
Yeah.
And of course, one thing I'll tell anybody that wants to go get alligator hunting: bring bug spray. The alligators probably won't hurt you near as much as the mosquitoes will. If you're out there on that boat. So,
and we've talked about Millwood. It's I guess we'd say near Texarkana in southwest Arkansas. Is that somewhere in that area? And
that's right. And Millwood's a little bit different. The folks that do draw at Millwood this year, because Millwood has a really good reputation for having a lot of big alligators,
Yes.
and because it is popular as a bass fishing destination,
Yeah.
a lot of people know that there are big alligators there. Well, we've had some issues in the recent past where people would draw a permit and they would hold out for a big gator, like a 12 and 13 foot gator.
Okay, yeah.
And they'll pass up all these other alligators on the way, so we're not actually reaching the amount of alligators we need removed.
Yeah.
So this year we instituted anybody that draws a permit for Millwood, we actually have a quota of we have 11 permits available, but we have a quota of 9 permits or 9 alligators taken. So those folks that draw a Millwood permit will have to call in every night to see if the quota is reached. If the quota is reached, then the season ends early. So it's kind of it's a little bit more of an incentive to get those folks that draw that permit to go ahead and get a gator. You know, if you've got a 10-foot gator sitting in front of you, that's a good gator.
Go ahead and get the gator. And again, we're talking about this is a night hunt, technically.
That's right. It's from sundown to sun up. So yeah,
that even
all
makes
of it takes place at night.
That even makes it. And some of these rigs I've seen these guys have, there's some pretty fancy gator rigs now. I mean, with high-powered lights, all these things that go with it.
There's a lot of folks that they'll take a lot of the equipment that like bow fishermen use.
Yeah,
and they'll set those up now. And that's one thing that if people have ever seen like swamp people and things like that on television, where they see where those guys are catching alligators and they're on a hook first or something like that. In Arkansas, we don't allow that. So the people that are alligator hunting actually you first have to catch the gator with either a harpoon or a snare around his neck.
A harpoon.
So you have to get alongside that gator in the boat before you actually begin to start trying to catch him. Which that's the biggest challenge really for most of them is getting alongside that gator.
Frank, you have the boat now. Do you charge for witnesses just to go and watch? I mean, you go sell tickets. Frank's got a new boat that maybe Frank. Can I go along with you, Frank? You go ahead and applicant, and then.
I have a duck boat.
You have a duck boat. He keeps calling it a duck boat. That's the name of it. It doesn't say gator boat, does it?
I do not have a gator boat.
Well, I've done a little bit of everything in my life, including going down noodling or whatever for big catfish and going in that burrow with the First Lady, Miss Huckabee, back in the days when they took me up to the Ouachita Mountains and I went in the hole and brought out that bear cub. It was the highlight of my career at the Arkansas Democrat. But I'll tell you what, I don't want to go. Don't ask me, Randy. I'm not going, okay?
You don't want to tag along for a gator hunt?
No, sir. No, tag along is not the right word, okay? I mean, I'm afraid I'll come back with a tag on my toe.
Just think of a 13-foot gator.
That is pretty interesting. Maybe that's the way to go out. That may be the end of my radio career right there. Randy Zeller, thank you, buddy. Keep me in mind, buddy, okay? We'll talk to you. Have a great weekend. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back and wrap up this baby on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We close out today's show on this June the 21st, third Saturday of the month, which means Frank Barton is our co-host. And, Frank, we got a big kick out of alligator hunting. I know you can't wait to talk duck hunting.
I never stop.
You never stop talking duck hunting. I know that for a fact. And, well, we got the man on the line right now dealing with some health issues, but the Dean of Waterfowl and Fishing Guides in the state of Tennessee, I'll match him to anybody, and that's my longtime friend, Steve McCadams. Good Saturday, Steve.
Hey, good to be with you here. Escorting, get the summer started.
Get the summer. Let's. I know the 94 degrees are starting today in Memphis, but maybe won't have any rain for a few days because we had a gully washer on Thursday morning that 4 or 5 inches came through here. And I know the fishing-wise, let's start with the fishing first, Steve. The Tennessee River, Steve puts out a great fishing report. You can go to LarryRay.com and look under reports, and you'd see Steve's information that he supplies. So what's the river looking like?
Well, we're in pretty good shape, Larry. We're not muddy at all. The lake's in normal summer pool and 3-4 inches high, but we hadn't been too affected by the flooding. TVA flushes the water through pretty good when the Mississippi River's not out. And so,
Really? Okay.
We're in good shape right now.
Well, that's different from a lot of other ones. We were talking over the bull shows, and it's above pool. A lot of them are above pool. We've seen all those pictures from Pickwick when the dam was bowling out with water, and so a lot of this will determine future fishing. A lot of people say it's good to have the extra water. What's your feeling on that?
Well, it depends on how much you get. Sometimes a little high water enhances your spawn and gives you a better survival rate on crappie and bass and bluegill and things, because a little small fry that hatch out in the grass and the bushes, they got more places to hide and get away from their predators, and you get a better survival rate. So it's not all bad.
And you do get some of those oxbows will fill up and get back in some places you can't normally get, particularly bluegill. And I'm thinking here on the third Saturday of June 2025, I'm thinking bluegill now. I don't know about crappie, but I'm sure that you can catch it.
You're right. We're having mayfly hatches right now, and that gets the bluegill going up here. That's one thing the Tennessee River is known for, is big mayfly hatches during the early summer, and we're having them right now. They just started.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a fisherman's dream.
That is a fisherman's dream, and that word gets out, doesn't it, Steve?
It does. When I was a kid, we did it with a fly rod and a popping bug. You don't see that anymore, but people use ultralight and light tackle, and you can still catch a lot of bass and bluegill around a mayfly hatch. And some people call it fishing's finest hour, and that's probably right.
I agree with that, and I know a lot of folks have asked me, well, we know about the bluegill and things like that. What about the red ear? What about what's going on?
Well, we had pretty good fishing back in late April and throughout May, and they're slowed down now and scattered. But you can't find them much, but the bluegill are still going strong, and we've had great bass fishing lately. There's been some awesome stringers of bass and schooling, and some tournaments we have lately have been just thumping them real good, so our bass numbers are good, and things are going pretty good up here. Our summer crappie fishing, which a lot of people overlook, they think springtime only, but that's not true. You can catch a lot of crappie here in the summer months if you know where to look.
And I know that these tournaments, Kentucky Lake's been hammered for his tournament, Steve. What I know that's great for the economy and everything else. What does that do to the fisheries up there?
Well, I think it's been able to absorb the pressure pretty good. Sometimes I wonder about it. Of course, it's catch and release, and they're turning all the fish back pretty good and trying to take good care of them. And I don't think it's hurt us too bad, but fishing pressure is going to be a factor now with forward fishing sonar, and everybody's got state-of-the-art electronics, and the fish don't have many places to hide anymore. But we're still pretty good shape here, and we're very fortunate. But I do think fishing pressure can be a factor. There is a limitation.
And I know that it seems like, and maybe it's just me down here in the hitherland of southwest Tennessee, I'm not hearing as much about the carp situation.
You're right. We've still got them, but they have diminished. The commercial fishermen have gotten very good at catching Asian carp and harvesting them the last 5 to 7 years, really.
Yeah.
And they know how to find them and catch them now, and they have controlled the population and kept it from getting out of hand. So we're in pretty good shape in that regard. 10 years ago, we were worried.
We were moaning.
Now, not so much so.
Yeah, and I think there is a positive side to this, that we heard nothing but negativity about that, and all of a sudden now we're getting a control on it, and we're finding out how to do it. So.
Right, exactly. And these guys, they'll catch 4,000 or 5,000 pounds a night. An individual fisherman will. So it's unbelievable how they harvest them. They've learned how to do it.
All right. Well, let's switch gear. Frank's over here wanting to know. I know it's June, but you can always talk. Waterfowl, and you're the man. You're the waterfowl guy. Talk about. I know. What did you say? Duck hunters are what? Frank?
Most optimistic people in the world.
Most optimistic people in the world. You agree with that, Steve?
We're the most optimistic, no doubt about it. No doubt.
And so are you optimistic again?
Always am this time of the year, and I look forward to it. Weather's a big deal. We're still getting over a flood here this spring.
That's right.
The whole O'Bine Bottom area, which is a huge drainage to the Mississippi,
yes,
flooded out this year, so it affected some of the crops. But they've got them in late, and hopefully we'll have some food later on when cold weather gets here and the ducks try to come through. Last year was a tough year for us.
Woo, yeah.
We didn't do too good until the last 20% of the season, you might say, before we had a lot of movement up and down these river bottoms.
But that's not unusual.
You know, you can snap your fingers and things can change so quick here in this area.
Well, maybe that's our problem. We're not snapping our fingers loud enough, Steve. Come on, we're going to have to. We're going to have to
well, we did. You know, I think a lot of ducks went west of us until late in the season last year, and we didn't have as many mallards here. We were really down on mallards, but other species showed up pretty good late. But early, it was warm and dry last year, and that's not a good combination for us here.
Well, Steve, I want to know that you've been doing it a long time. You got some health issues now. Tell our listeners out there how you doing.
Oh, well, I'm getting by. I had a tough winter last year. In the spring, I had back operation, and that's kept me off the lake. I couldn't get in the boat.
Yeah.
And last year it hit me during duck season, and I couldn't get around, so I've had to sit back and kind of watch some other people do it, and that's killing me.
That's killing you, yeah.
I've been doing it for over 50 years, and to not be able to get on the water this spring has really been tough. But
well,
we're going to get there. I'm taking physical therapy, and we're going to get through it.
Get through it, Steve, because I know how much it means to you, but at the same time, buddy, hang in there, okay? We're here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your encouragement.
We're always trying to encourage you because when you run around with old folks, that's what you become, okay, man? So.
Well, I'm old.
No,
I'm 71, so
no,
that
you're
used
just
to be old, but it is now.
You're just a pup, buddy. Thank you, Steve, buddy. Tell everybody hello
Thank
for
you,
me. All right, man.
Great to be with you again.
Thank you, buddy. Steve McCadams, over 50 years as a waterfowl. Think about that, you know. You think about that, Frank. You've been in a boat a long time, and you know a guide for over 50 years is not the same as just three of your buddies.
Oh no! You're doing it every day, no matter what the weather.
That's right, and people are paying you to do it.
That's right,
and you're trying to do it. But anyway, put Steve McCadams on your prayer list, buddy. But he's trying, he's pushing. Of course, he's just a young duck. So. No attention, no young duck. So what's up for you now?
Well, we're in dog training. We're know, early in the morning, everything, getting ready for Master National.
How many dogs you got now? When are you working?
For me?
Yes.
I have 4 that I'm in training right now.
Okay. And your lead dog?
And 4 dogs eat a lot of dog food.
Oh, they do? Well,
they eat a lot of dog food.
Well, you want them to.
You bet.
I mean, they got to keep their strength up and everything.
You bet.
So what do you work with them right now? Early and late, or just early?
Just early.
Just early.
Just early. Occasionally I might do something late, but normally it's just early because normally late it's.
So Hershey oldest?
No, Goose. Goose and Hershey are within 30 days of each other. So
and how old is?
They're both 7.
Now this is prime time then.
Yeah, they're at their peak.
Okay.
They're at their peak, and then
you got a couple of young dogs, don't you?
Leia and Maverick are 3, and just starting to learn what the serious stuff is about.
So summertime is really like spring training, I guess.
Yeah, fall. My season starts
in fall, right?
It really starts August 1 because that's when the new crop. That's when it's still really hot, but that's when the new qualification period for the next year's.
And where's the Master National?
This year it's in Bastrop, Texas.
Bastrop, Texas. I don't know where that is.
Just outside Giddings. You probably don't know where that is either.
It's near Giddings.
That's right. Anyway,
okay.
It's about 45 minutes from Austin.
Okay, that tells me that.
Yeah.
Well, Frank, thank you.
And then next year, 26, it will be back in Roseburg, Oregon.
Oh, back to Roseburg. Okay. Well, Frank will be preparing for that. But anyway, thank you, Frank, for joining us today. Good to have you for the entire show. Appreciate you doing that. We'll try to get John back next month so y'all can duel again. Shelby, thank you for taking care. Let me tell you about next week's show. Bill Cooksey will be our co-host. he's got some interesting things, y'all. I guess you've heard the license fee was turned down. I understand. Bill will be on that next week explaining all about that. We're going to also talk to Lawrence Taylor of Daisy Rifles. You ever had a Daisy BB gun, Frank?
You bet.
Yes. And Lawrence is still giving away, I don't know how many BB guns he's given away through me, through children's events or whatever. So we're going to talk about what it means to work for Lawrence, with Lawrence at Daisy in Rogers, Arkansas. All right. Well, thank you again, Shelby. We'll be back next week, Lord willing. As I always say, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And what else, Frank?
God bless the USA.